Multi-cam shoots are always challenging, but matching footage from different cameras in post is even more challenging. And that's what I'm going to talk about in this video, and a new software plugin called CineMatch, which claims to make it much easier to match different camera profiles in post. CineMatch is available for DaVinci Resolve and also for Adobe Premiere Pro, and as you can see, I am in Adobe Premiere Pro right now. And as you can see, I already created a sequence and I have footage here on the left side which was shot with a Fujifilm X-T4, and on the right side I have the same sequence shot on the GoPro Hero 8. On the left side you can see CineMatch is right here. It's in the camera matching folder inside of Premiere Pro, but of course you can also simply search it right here. What you need to do is drag it onto both clips. I also recommend creating a multicam sequence so you have both or even multiple cameras in frame, otherwise it will be tricky to adjust and see does the footage match or not. Next up, it's important to choose your camera. Like I said, the left one right here is the Fujifilm X-T4. So I'm gonna start with that camera. I'm gonna select the camera first, Fujifilm, go down here, X-T4, and then F-Log. It was shot in log, so that's the right profile. I'm simply gonna click Apply, and then I'm gonna click on Apply Rec 709 Transform. And as you can see, now it already looks pretty good. You can see there's some sort of magenta shift, and yeah, there are a few tweaks I still want to do, but before I do that, I'm gonna apply the same effect here on the GoPro footage. So what I'm gonna do is choose a camera. I'm gonna choose GoPro. Right now there's only the Hero 8 available, but that's fine since I use that camera. And then there are two different profiles here, the flat native profile and the flat neutral. I shot it in neutral, which is pretty much the log profile. Then I'm gonna click Apply, and as you can see, nothing happens. Why is that? Because first off, I need to choose Fujifilm X-T4 as source, which means the camera that should be the source is actually the one that you mostly use. In this case, the X-T4 here on the left side, that is the main, the A camera, and the second, the B camera, is the GoPro, which is just kind of as a backup or if I want to get a wide kind of shot. So I'm gonna select X-T4 again, F-Log, Apply, and as you can see, it looks a little funny. That is not final yet. I'm gonna click Apply Rec 709 again, and as you can see, it still doesn't look very good, but no worries. With a few clicks I'm gonna adjust it. It already pretty much did mostly of the job. What I'm gonna do now is adjust the profile of the GoPro because it's a little underexposed, which was my fault because it was a pretty dark day when I shot that. And then I also need to adjust the tint. As you can see, it's kind of greenish here on the right side with the GoPro footage. So I'm gonna slide it a little bit to the right side, and now you can see it already matches much better. But to be honest, if I look at my face right here, let's take a closer look, you can see this could be a little warmer, or I would say at least a little bit less of a magenta shift. So I'm gonna select the X-T4 footage and I'm drag it a little bit into the minus, meaning it becomes a little bit more of a greenish tint. When it comes to custom controls, I think pretty much anything you would need is included, especially when it comes to basic color correction. For example, here you have hue versus hue or versus saturation, etc. And down here there are also color wheels, which means you can really adjust all settings. And of course you can also adjust the curve right here. So if I say, maybe I'm not so happy with how the contrast looks like, maybe the blacks are a little bit too dark or maybe a little bit too soft, then I can also adjust that simply by dragging the curve around. And of course I can also do the same by adjusting the levels down here. Even though I don't need to match GoPro footage with proper camera footage every day, but I think it's a good example to showcase how different kinds of cameras fit together and how much CineMatch can actually do to make sure it matches properly. One of the first things I asked myself is, well, does CineMatch simply apply regular conversion LUTs, Well, those two images from the X-T4 and the GoPro don't match at all, and that is because I applied a regular conversion LUT from Fujifilm, the Eternal LUT, and a custom one here for the GoPro. And as you can see, the images look very different. Definitely shows that CineMatch is a big advantage when it comes to, simple color matching. One thing I always try to avoid is matching Panasonic and Sony cameras because the color science is so different, especially on older models. For example, here on the left side, you can see GH5 footage. On the right side is Sony A7 III footage. The contrast, the color, I think it really looks identical. So I was quite surprised to see that. Overall, I think CineMatch works pretty well, and I think the user interface is very easy to operate. I think what could probably be implemented would be a multicam view, so I don't have to set it up in Premiere Pro, but somewhere here and simply switch between those windows, and that I wouldn't have to apply the CineMatch tool to both clips, but simply somewhere in an adjustment layer or something like that, and then I can switch between cameras. I know it's probably difficult to do that, but I think from the idea that would be pretty cool. Two other things that I think could be improved is that you can type in a value right here, because right now I can only drag the slider around with my mouse, but I cannot type in a value. For example, if I want to have 0.3, well, I can try to drag it around, but the question is, will it exactly be 0.3 or not? That's a minor thing. I think another thing is that it would be good to be able to apply custom LUTs. For example, if I'm done color correcting right here, I would need to open a different plugin like Lumetri to apply a custom look, a LUT. And I think it would be good if there would simply a way to open a LUT here so I can do all the color correction and grading in CineMatch. What I like about CineMatch are all the custom controls, but if you are new to color correction, you can also get good results. For example, when it comes to correcting the white balance and tint. This picker can simply be used on white surfaces or a subject, and it will automatically adjust the color temperature. When it comes to setting the white balance in camera, always make sure you do it manually, even if it's off, even if it is a little cold, a little warm. But if you need to set keyframes for multiple cameras for your white balance, that can be quite annoying. On corporate productions, I mostly try to avoid shooting on different cameras because I really don't like spending too much time in post matching those cameras. But with CineMatch, it really is much easier. Of course, in the end, it comes down to which camera you are using, because not all camera profiles are supported. And it also comes down to whether or not you shoot in log or Rec 709 or some sort of baked-in profile, because most camera profiles, at least right now, are mostly log and not Rec 709, so that is something to keep in mind.